Hey guys, welcome back to the Pine Box Perspective. Normally what I do when I'm backpacking, I try to get as close as I can as far as my food prep and things to say what you would do if you're regular camping with a car or whatever. Now I know you can't carry a Dutch oven with you can't carry all the stuff with you, okay? But what I did was I picked myself up one of these bush pots because I've been using other things for a while, really wanted to try one. What I want to do today is I want to use this as an oven, turn it on its side, and I'm going to make a deep dish omelet. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in the middle of the recipe how you can turn an omelet into a quiche, kind of for the woods, okay? I'm not going to make a quiche today because that includes milk and cake flour and a lot more time, okay? But I'm going to tell you when you would add those ingredients, and we'll go from there. So what I have here is I've got just some regular bacon bits, okay? Real bacon. In here I've got some spinach, and I've got some chanterelle mushrooms that I foraged out here on the property. We're going to rehydrate these. I dehydrated the mushrooms, okay? We're going to saute these together, and I'll show you here in just a little bit about how much you want to do. You don't want to wilt the spinach. You don't want to overcook it. You want the color to get kind of bright and look good. So these mushrooms, we're going to go ahead and put in a saucepan. I'm going to pour some water on it, and it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to rehydrate back to its fullest potential possible, okay? A little small thing of butter. I've got some salt and pepper mixed up. I've got some feta cheese crumbles, and I've got 3 eggs and a bandana, okay? Now, you can take eggs backpacking with you. Here's the deal. Store-bought eggs, you can't use those. You have to get, if you got chickens, you're good to go. Chicken eggs, if you get them out of the chicken house or whatever, the coop, and you don't wash them, they'll last 4 weeks. With my chickens, I usually go 3. Fill your sink up with water when you wash your eggs, and we're not going to be washing eggs for this, but if you do, and if your eggs float, they're bad. What I do is if they try to stand up on one end, I throw those out too. So a lot of countries all over the world, they just keep their eggs in a bowl fresh out of the chicken coop until they need them, and then they wash them off then. You know, here in America, we just get our stuff from the store most of the time, sadly enough. So, but anyway, 3 to 4 weeks, your eggs are fine. So even in the summertime, get yourself one of them little yellow egg safes from Walmart or Academy or wherever, and you know, you can carry 6 farm fresh eggs with you on the trail, okay? So now I've got my bush pot, obviously, and I've got this is from one of my old sets. This is one of the little flip over handle saucepan. You can use it as a cup, dipper, or whatever. This is aluminum, anodized, and this is another part of that set, the old one. It was a 4-piece set. It's got the little swing out butterfly handles. This is gonna be my mixing bowl. This is what we're gonna cook in, and we're going to put it in the oven like this. Now, that's not going to want to set level like that. You see that right there? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold the handle in, and now I've got more weight on this side of the pan because of where that hinged handle is. So when I slide it in there, I'm going to push that to the back, and it's going to rest up against that, and we're going to keep that fairly level, okay? And it'll work. All right. So let me get the fire going, let me rehydrate my mushrooms, and I'll get back with you here in about 10 to 15. All right guys, I wanted to add real quick. So got my little saucepan. I'm going to rehydrate my mushrooms. And these chanterelles, you might want to use something from the store, you know, shiitakes, portobellos, whatever. These guys are pretty thin in nature, okay? So what I want to do is just kind of rip these up. Now, I've got 3 eggs here. I might have, when it's all said and done, my mix may be, you know, more than what I need for this little pan, but I want to kind of fill it up. Okay, so we're just going to rip some of this up here now. And I'm going to do the same thing with the spinach. I don't want it too small, I don't want it too big. Like I said, these mushrooms are already, a lot of them are pretty small anyway, so. And you can substitute anything in this recipe that you want to, obviously, except for the eggs. But this is something I came up with, and I kind of like it. I think it's pretty good. So, rehydrate these. It doesn't take a whole lot of water. Okay, we're just going to pour enough in there to basically cover them. Okay, and I just want to take my fingers and make sure they all get good and wet in there. Stir them around. All right. Like I said, we're going to let that set for about 10 to 15, but I want to show you kind of what I'm working with over here on the fire real quick and how I've got it set up. So All right, so what I'm doing here is typically I'll do like a keyhole fire, but sometimes it just works out better with the wind for me to be on the other side. So I got a couple of rocks set up here, and I've got my fire there. And what I want to do is I'm trying to use basically small stuff like twigs and things like that. If I need to split some stuff down, I will. But I've got this little area on the back here with this rock here, and this is where I'm going to set my saucepan. So, you know, maybe one side of it will get hot, but I can sit here and turn it with the handle. So I can saute back here while the oven's heating up. Okay, so that way I can keep heat in there the entire time. So that's kind of how I'm going to do that. Like I said, I've got some stuff I've already broken up here, different sizes. And I'm going to go through these. I'm going to add some more small, some more medium, some more large throughout the fire to kind of keep the fire about where I want it to. And I do want to say, when I was looking at this pot, I kind of wanted one without a spout for some reason. You know, I was looking at the zebra pot or the billy pot, whatever it is. Kind of went with this one because I wanted to use it as an oven. I've got more capability with this. And with the spout, it allows a little bit of heat to escape, okay? So I ain't got to worry about the lid blowing off if I've got, you know, some soup boiling in there or something like that if I want to swing it. So I really like this setup so far. I've only tried it one time, so. And this recipe is really good, guys. If you try it, I think you're going to like it. All right, I'll get back with you in a little bit. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start putting some stuff together. So our mushrooms are nice and soft, okay? So we're just going to drain those out with our fingers. Okay. There's a little bit of water in there. It's not going to hurt nothing. Now, take some spinach. And the size of the spinach obviously is going to reduce drastically. So I've got a good handful and about a half a handful of the mushrooms when they were dry. Just tear them up, put them in the pot or pan. And I could have done this just in the bush pot itself, but I kind of like doing it this way because then I could just pull this out and eat from it, and my large pot's already clean and put things back into it. So take just a little piece of butter. Doesn't take much of that either. There it goes. And we're going to do the little pinch of this salt and pepper mix. Like a 3-finger kind of deal for what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take this around back. I'm going to let that start to heat up, and then I'm going to come back and stir it and check on it. And I'll show you what that looks like when it gets to where it needs to be. Now, I am going to put, for my mixing bowl, I'm going to put just a small touch of butter in it too, because why not? Help keep things from sticking. And if you want to, you could go ahead and heat that up and have that going, stir it around in the pot and get the whole thing coated. You know, obviously eggs are going to stick to these, especially these aluminum type things. It's just gonna happen. That's life. So whenever I beat eggs, scrambled eggs, or if I'm making an omelet or whatever, I always add just a little bit of water. Okay, not much. And what that does, it kind of fluffs up your eggs a little bit and gives you a little bit more than what you had before, it seems like. And our eggs. Try not to get the shell in there. All right. When I'm camping or hiking, I like to eat good. I don't like to eat granola bars and cans of soup and things like that. I like to eat pretty close to what I could eat at home. It makes me feel a lot better about it. I get a lot better experience out of it. So, worked really hard to come up with some of these recipes. Now, I'm going to go ahead and beat those eggs up for now. And then I'm going to wait until I add the spinach and the mushrooms before I add the bacon bits and the feta crumbles, because when these soak in there with that egg and water mixture, they're going to get kind of mushy, and I don't want that. I want this to retain some sort of its integrity, you know, and shape and everything. Now, I don't want soggy bacon and soggy cheese. Now, the cheese may melt a little bit, but that's kind of a different story, okay? So we'll go ahead and beat these eggs up for now and have those ready. And when I beat eggs, like I said, I don't do it too much, okay? Just a little bit. Kind of like when you're making waffles or pancakes, you don't want to overdo the mixture. Now, I told you I was going to show you how to make this into a quiche. Now, it's going to be sort of a crustless quiche, but it's going to kind of have a crust on the inside and out. This is where you'd want to add your desired amount of, say, Swan's Down cake flour is what I used when I made a quiche last weekend in the oven. And a little bit of milk, okay? Now, that's the difference between the omelet and the quiche. The only thing is, when you make a quiche, you're going to have to bake it a little bit longer. It's going to take a lot longer. So depending on how long you want to wait, or if you just really enjoy this and want to do that, you can. But that cake flour inside that mixture has to sort of crisp up a little bit, okay? And you know, you can do this in like muffin pan. That's why I like the smaller frying pan instead of something larger like this, because it would take a way long time, you know, to have, say, that pot full of a quiche, and then you got to sit there and tear it all to crap to try and get it out. And guys, I worked in restaurants for a long time, so one of my things is when I make a meal, I like to have a nice presentation. I want to look good in the plate, good in the bowl, no matter if I'm in the woods, in a restaurant, at home, whatever. So anyway, so I just sort of did a low beat on these eggs, and you guys know what that looks like. So now let's hop over here and check out lobster. Stir this up a little bit. It's not really started. So what I want to do is I just want to bring a lighter color out of the spinach, and that's all I'm trying to do. Okay, we're not quite there yet. We don't want to wilt it because it's going to turn back dark again. It's going to look like greens. It's not what I want to look for. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. We just want that for sort of a bright green. Okay, and want to get that salt and pepper stirred up really good around this stuff. Now with these chanterelle mushrooms, guys, so far, and I have found morel mushrooms on this property. A lot of people say that's like a delicacy. I actually prefer the chanterelles. It's my favorite by far, mushrooms that I foraged. So. And we don't need a raging fire. I'm not trying to overdo anything here. I'm trying to keep a low footprint, use a small amount of resources as possible whenever I can. I don't need this fire for heat or light or anything else at this point in time, so I'm just trying to use enough of what I got. And the reason I want to hit on that is because if you've ever camped in a national forest, a lot of times you're not allowed to bring in firewood from the outside because you don't want to transfer bugs and things that aren't normally there. You can't, you know, you can only take dead stuff off the ground. So a lot of times people have already taken that dead stuff and you got to go look for it. So if you're able to cook something this good with just twigs that you can find laying on the ground, you're doing a pretty good job. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wilt that, or not wilt it, sorry. We're going to saute that mixture, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I don't know if you can hear that sizzling. This is about what we're looking for here. Now remember, this stuff is going to continue to cook when we add it all together and put it in the oven, so that's one of the reasons why we don't want to overdo it now. And you can just do this and turn your pan however you want to. You can do it like this. You can stand here and just baby it. Sauteing does not take very long. So that's what we're looking for right there. Don't that look nice? Okay, so we're going to add that to the mixture, and we're just about ready to go. Okay, so we'll take this. Okay, and now we can add our bacon bits and our cheese. Guys, when I cook, I typically just play by ear. So, you know, 3 eggs, I'm probably going to do small, you know, inside the palm amount of bacon bits. I don't really want to overwhelm the recipe with any one thing. I want it to complement each other. If I was going to overwhelm it with anything, it would certainly be cheese. So I think that's a good amount of cheese for, and that was about the same amount of feta crumbles. Okay, good old sheep cheese. And I'm going to add my pinch of salt and pepper. Okay, just a good little cover it on the top there. And let's see, go ahead and mix everything up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to transfer this into the small pan and just see if we got enough room in that small pan for all of this. Wish I could tell you what size that pan is. I have no idea. This is from the Coleman Max set, and it's the second smallest frying pan in the set. Oh yeah, that's going to be great. All right. All right, let's pop her in the oven. Okay. Let's flip our handle down. Oh, it popped out. Guys, you can remove this handle if you want to. Like I said, it adds some weight to the back end. So, and the most important thing, leather gloves. You want to get your pot seated. Obviously, this one wants to go this way because of the rocks I'm using. But you don't want your stuff to spill out inside the pot, so we're going to have to mess with this a little bit here. Let's see. Try to do this without screwing up or getting burned. Now they do make a Pathfinder does have a small grill grate that slides in there that can kind of help things balance out a little better. I don't have one of those yet. Probably plan on getting one. I've got the branded boards folding one that I've showed you guys on another video. I really like it, but it won't fit inside this pot. So this is the 2-quart or the 64-ounce pot. Guys, if you're making a stew or something, you could easily feed 3 people out of this, which is kind of what I was going for, my wife and my 2 smaller kids. By myself, I could get away with the 1 quart probably, but this is a really good size to work with. I really like this one. And it'll fit down in the pack, and it'll fit down smaller than most sleeping bags and things like that. So you could just stick it on the bottom. I like the fact that I could put a bunch of stuff in there and just have everything packed away. The lid fits on really nice and tight. Some people complain about that. I don't. If you're swinging it over a fire, it's nothing to just grab it and set it down and stir your stuff and put it back on, just like your Dutch oven cooking, you know. But you can put a stick through that little loop right there and just kind of pull it up and it'll come up. So I don't know why people want to complain about a tight lid. I like that, especially if you're carrying something in a pack. Okay, so we're gonna let this cook for a while. I can't tell you exactly how long it takes. I'm just gonna have to keep checking it here and there and until it's done, just like anything else. All right, guys. All right, so it's been about 7 minutes. I just want to see where we're at. Okay, nowhere near it yet. So, still pretty soupy. Well, there we go. Try not to spill it. All right, we'll check back shortly. One thing I want to add real quick that I just noticed with this pour spout on the bush pot here is I can take my little pocket flashlight and I can shine in there and I can see, you know, if you have an open container like we have here, I can kind of see what's going on because obviously I don't have a glass oven door here. I thought that was pretty nice. I like that a lot, so that's going to help me out. We're not quite there yet, guys, so just hang on. All right, let's give it a look. Now, this is a little bit of a slower process because, you know, I'm using smaller stuff and having a really small fire here. But that's good when you've got something a little bit thicker that you're cooking. So the center should cook about evenly with the outsides. Not quite, but pretty close. And also it helps with a smaller fire because I'm not burning my hands and stuff. All right, let's take a look. Look at that, guys. A few bubbles, but that's okay. All right, I'm gonna call it good. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, nice and done on the inside. I know this is gonna be hot. So check that out. Looks delicious. Oh man. Pretty hot, but freaking delicious. Okay. So, yeah, I could have cooked this, just put this pan over some rocks or some things like that. But like I said, using the oven that way, I get even heat all the way around with that space there. So that worked out pretty well. I'm really enjoying that. I'm becoming a fanboy of the Pathfinder gear. I'm not going to lie. I've got quite a bit of their stuff now and I've been using it and I like it. So guys, let me know in the comments if you'd like this kind of thing. I'd like to do some more of it. And as far as food goes, if there's something you want me to try, you know, out here for a woods meal that you don't have time for, maybe I could try it. We'll see how it goes, okay? I've cooked quite a bit in my life, so when it comes to food, I can probably figure out a way to do it, all right? All right, guys, I appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.